Hi, my name is Jennifer Hancock, and this is a humanistic approach to being professional, creating clarity, and behaving ethically. Being professional is something most of us aspire to be, but we're not always clear on how to do it. And so this program is to help discuss what it means to be professional, what the specific behaviors are that make someone professional, and why it's important to be professional in all that you do, because it's going to help you make your life easier. And finally, how to actually be professional in difficult situations. So, what does it mean to be professional? When we think of someone who is professional, we think of someone who is competent, meaning they're capable of doing whatever the task is. They have the skills and the knowledge to do the job. But it's not just about competency. A professional person is also reliable and responsible. They're going to do what they say they do, and they're not going to make promises that they can't keep. Which is why people who are professional are also honest and have integrity. But it's more than that. When I think of a professional person, I think of someone who is calm under pressure. They're flexible enough to change plans to get the work done if something happens. They don't allow changes in plans to ruffle them. They're in control of their emotions and the situation as a result. They are someone who has self-control, and when they're stressed out, they still manage to not only do the right thing, they do it in a way that has grace and dignity. And it's this last bit, dignity, that really, to me, defines a professional person. They not only carry themselves with dignity, they treat others with dignity as well. This definition of what it means to be professional, competent, reliable, honest, in control of the self, flexible, and dignified, is, I think, something that most of us aspire to, right? I know I do. The problem is how to actually behave that way when under pressure. And to help us understand how to behave this way, I'm going to talk about why to behave this way first. What are the benefits of being a professional person? The answer to the question, why be professional, is because it makes your life easier. Professional people don't just appear to be dignified, they are dignified. Because being professional and choosing to act in a way where you are ethical, honest, competent, and in control of your emotions helps make life easier. Here's why. There is an acronym in business called VUCA, V-U-C-A. It stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. All situations you encounter have volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. There is no easy situation in the workplace ever. VUCA is a constant. What makes the difference is how people respond to all this volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Some people respond well to this stress, and other people simply do not. As a humanist, I like to take a rational approach, which is strangely enough based on the Serenity Prayer. What can I control? What can't I control? Wisdom is knowing the difference. So looking at this list, I know I can't control the volatility or the uncertainty. Things are going to happen. And to a certain extent, I can't control the complexity of a situation either. Things just are the way they are. Those are constant and static. They're always going to exist. What I can reduce, though, is the uncertainty and the ambiguity. I can create clarity around those. We know there's going to be volatility. We know there's going to be complexity, but I can reduce uncertainty and ambiguity by increasing clarity. I can reduce two of the elements of VUCA by being a professional person, and that is huge, huge. When we look back at the elements of what it means to be a professional, what we see is that all those elements are about creating clarity and reducing ambiguity and uncertainty. Being professional isn't just about what you do, which is the competency part. It's also about how you do it. Our list of things that make people professional contained 6 elements. The first was being competent. Knowing how to do the job that reduces uncertainty and ambiguity. You can bring your expertise and your knowledge to the problem-solving process, and that's about what you do. Like, that's the only part that's about what you do. You have the knowledge to do the job and to solve the problems. Great. Then that reduces some uncertainty. The remaining 5 elements are about how you do what you do, and specifically how you behave, whether you're behaving ethically or not. All 5 of these elements are about creating clarity. Being competent reduces uncertainty and ambiguity because you can bring your expertise to the problem-solving process. Behaving ethically also helps reduce uncertainty and ambiguity. Being reliable and honest, being reliable and responsible means people can trust you to do the work that you promise to do, and that also reduces uncertainty and ambiguity because the work roles are clearly defined. Being honest means people can trust you to tell them the truth, which again reduces uncertainty and ambiguity. And you can exercise self-control, which means you're not likely to behave erratically. And again, this increases clarity and reduces uncertainty and ambiguity because people know what to expect from you. So let me give you an example from my husband's work. My husband is in sales. He ships through his own warehouse, but he also uses third parties to ship product out to his customers. And it's not unusual for things to happen in this process. Maybe the third-party dealer promised him a product they can't deliver. Maybe something happened and the shipment was delayed. Things happen. That's the volatility and the complexity of work. He can't control those 2 things. Things are going to happen. What he can do is when something happens, he can create clarity. As soon as he learns that he's got a problem, he calls his client. He lets them know that there is a problem and what's going on. He can work with his vendors to try and fulfill the order in a different way. But it's that creating of clarity with all the parties involved in solving that problem that makes him a professional. And that's what makes my husband really successful at what he does. He is a professional. He's reliable, he's responsible, he focuses on fixing the problem, he works to create clarity for everyone involved so that the problem can be fixed. He is honest, he does not lie to his clients or to his vendors. He lets everyone know what's going on and what's being done to fix it and when a fix is expected. He creates clarity for everyone, so everyone knows what to expect, and that reduces the uncertainty and the ambiguity. You can't control the volatility and the complexity, but you can create clarity. And to me, that's what it means to be a professional. He is dignified and in control when he does this. He doesn't freak out. He simply gets to work solving the problem and communicating with everyone effectively so that everyone knows what's going on and has confidence that the problem will be solved. And if he can't do something, he doesn't lie to his clients. He tells them, I can't do that. And he gets clients that way. He gets clients that way. People are like, oh, I need this at this price. He goes, I can't do it at that price. If someone does, go get it from them. And normally what happens is the other salesperson was lying to the customer, that they couldn't do it either. They just lied. And my husband gains clients for life that way, by being honest. He's flexible. He doesn't really care what the problem is. It's part of his job to fix problems, so he just starts fixing them. He not only is a professional, he is professional. And that's why he has the respects of his colleagues and his clients and his vendors. And let's be honest, wouldn't you rather work with someone who is professional this way if this is how they approach problem solving? Of course you would. We all would. We all know what it's like to encounter a problem and not only not know how to fix it, but to have people who are supposed to be helping you and they leave you hanging or they lie to you and it just makes more problems. Dealing with professional people who do not lie, they are responsible and honest, and they work on problem solving makes life easier. Not communicating honestly and ethically and in a timely manner increases uncertainty and ambiguity. Professionals, by being honest, responsible, dignified, and flexible, and competent, create clarity when things go wrong. And things always go wrong. It's just how a professional person deals with it, by being an ethical person. So how do we become that person? How do we behave ethically and be that professional person that we want to be? For me, this is where the humanism comes in. Humanism is an ethical philosophy. It's about what it means to be an ethical person and putting your reason and compassion into action. Not just saying I'm going to be an ethical person, but actually being an ethical person through your actions. As we've just discussed, that's pretty much what a professional person is. A professional person behaves ethically and responsibly and creates clarity for people. To behave ethically, really the only secret is to put ethics first. You make being ethical a priority. You need to put your ethics first and put your ethics into action by being a responsible person. Competency comes second. I would much rather deal with someone who's learning the ropes, who's honest, than someone who is competent but is not professional. And I think most people would agree with that. Make being an ethical person a priority and consider what the ethical thing to do is in every situation you find yourself in, and then do it. Make being ethical a habit. Now, the next element to behaving ethically is to remain calm, exercise self-control, and remain dignified. You don't have to react to things right away. You can think before you act. Shocking, I know. You can think before you act. And you can choose, by thinking before you act and staying calm, you can actually choose your actions that give you the best likelihood of success. You don't jump to conclusions. You wait, you get the information, you think about what the best course of action is, and then you do that. This requires a willingness to be responsible to your actions so that you can prioritize thinking before acting. In other words, use your reason to determine what is ethical and then act accordingly. This also requires a determination to be a dignified person, to really kind of internalize that. Think to yourself, what would an ethical, dignified person do? And do that. And this is not, dignity is not about putting on airs. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about valuing yourself as an ethical human being and not putting your anxieties onto other people, remaining calm. In most cases, an ethical, dignified person is going to be honest. They're going to work on problem solving. They won't demean people for screwing up. That happens. They will instead focus on collaborative problem solving and try to solve things in an ethical, effective way without dressing people down or demeaning them in any way. Dignified people just don't do that. They don't demean people because that demeans themselves. Dignified people do not fly off the handle. They do not yell. They do not bully. They just competently and ethically work on fixing the problem. If you want to be seen as an ethical, dignified person, act like an ethical, dignified person. Ethical people think before they act, and they act in accordance with their ethics. They put their reason and compassion into action. So to keep this simple, focus on three things. Focus on being honest, focus on being reliable, and focus on being competent. If the people around you are being unethical and undignified, that's on them. You don't need to join them there. You be the person you aspire to be. Live up to your ethics and to your ideals and focus on what is really important. Solving problems ethically, effectively, and in a dignified manner. Thank you. This has been a program of Humanist Learning Systems. We have a variety of programs online. We hope to see you on another course.